Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to Mushabbar. Let's talk about the new political map that was presented by the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, and also the Foreign Minister of Pakistan, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, a couple of days ago. There has been a lot of discussion about this map in the social media channels. People are presenting different kind of ideas and they are interpreting this map in a different way. I think you should look at the speeches that were delivered by the Prime Minister of Pakistan.
पाकिस्तान की कैबिनेट ने, कश्मीरी लीडरशिप ने और सारी ऑपोजिशन की लीडरशिप ने भी इस नए नक्शे की तायीद की है। ये जो नक्शा है जो हम पाकिस्तान का पॉलिटिकल मैप दुनिया के सामने लेके आ रहे हैं, ये सबसे पहले पाकिस्तानी कौम की उमंगों की तर्जुमानी करता है। उसके बाद ये पाकिस्तान और कश्मीर के लोगों का जो असूली मौक़िफ़ है उसकी तायीद करता है। और जो हिंदुस्तान ने 5 अगस्त पिछले साल गासिबाना और गैर कानूनी कदम उठाया था कश्मीर में, ये उसकी नफ़ी करता है। और आज से सारे पाकिस्तान में जो हमारा ऑफिशियल नक्शा होगा पाकिस्तान का, वो ये जो आज पाकिस्तान की कैबिनेट ने पास किया है। अब से ये स्कूलों में, कॉलेजेस में, इंटरनेशनली ये नक्शा आया करेगा हमारा।
And also by the Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi.
अब मैं चाहूँगा कि हमारे फॉरेन मिनिस्टर शाह महमूद कुरैशी ये आपको ये जो नक्शा है जिसमें जो चेंजेस हुए हैं ये अब आपके सामने रखें। शाह महमूद कुरैशी।
शुक्रिया वज़ीर आज़म। पूरी कौम को मुबारकबाद, ख़ास तौर पे वज़ीर आज़म आपको और आपकी हुकूमत को मुबारकबाद मैं देना चाहूँगा कि ये एजाज़ अल्लाह ने आपको दिया।
I have taken some extract from those speeches and have published 2 videos in my channel before this video. Please look at those videos. I will also provide the link to these speeches so that you can watch yourself, so that you are not misguided by someone. Already the Indian mass media propaganda machines have started activating, and they are now delivering lot of social media videos about this map, and they are interpreting in different way. Also, there are a lot of people, and those are minority in number. They are spread all over the Europe, including in Sweden. They probably have vested interest. They probably have been sponsored by this mass propaganda media war machines. And when I say the word sponsored, the sponsorship does not come just in terms of financial gains. There are also other kind of gains. There is also the environment they get and the support they get to achieve their goals. So what I want to say that some people are interpreting this map in a different way, and they are talking in a different way, and they are trying to downplay what Prime Minister of Pakistan has done. But please listen to their speeches by yourself. And also I would like to tell you that this map that Prime Minister of Pakistan has presented, this is not something new. We have been watching and studying this map when we were students in schools. So even if I look back 3 decades, 4 decades, and even if I look into the history of Pakistan from the beginning, this map has been presented in so many times. But right now, the government has involved the survey of Pakistan. The proper survey has been done, and maybe they have done the map on the micro level. So maybe they have more details, but the map in principle is the same that we have been used to see for many, many years from our childhood. Actually, in the time of the great Pakistani leader General Ziaul Haq, this map was widely used. So the map that I have been studying during the era of General Ziaul Haq looks identical to what Prime Minister of Pakistan has presented. So there is not a huge difference. I think we should in this time salute to General Ziaul Haq because his map looks similar to what Prime Minister of Pakistan has presented. And some people are trying to say that, okay, Prime Minister of Pakistan never said that Kashmir is part of Pakistan. He is just saying that it is a state whose future has to be decided. Of course, this is the policy of the Pakistan government from the beginning, and also this was the policy of General Ziaul Haq, and also this is now the policy of the Prime Minister of Pakistan, that this state, the state of Jammu and Kashmir, is a disputed state. Its future has to be decided, but on what basis? On the basis of United Nations resolutions that have been passed and signed by even those countries who have veto powers. And if those United Nations resolutions would have been implemented long ago, and even if they will be implemented soon in the future, what will be the decision? What people will do, what Kashmiri people will do? Are they going to cast vote in favor of India while India has implemented lockdown or curfew for about a year or maybe more? So if someone is going to implement United Nations resolution for Jammu and Kashmir, which is a reality that it is a disputed area according to United Nations resolutions, if those resolutions are going to be implemented, the Kashmir will definitely become part of Pakistan. They are not going to choose India. So that's what Prime Minister of Pakistan said during his speech, that Kashmir is a disputed territory. The people of the Kashmir has to decide based on the United Nations resolutions. They have to pick and choose what they want to do. Either they want to go for India or Pakistan. And if those resolutions will be implemented today, then of course there's 99.999999% probability that it will become part of Pakistan. And that is one of the reasons why India is not implementing those resolutions. Now India is trying to change the demography of the Kashmir so that whenever there is a voting happens in future, then they would have already brought lot of non-Kashmiri people inside illegal Indian occupied part of Kashmir. Yes, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, also said that even though he is showing this map, it doesn't mean that Pakistan have full control of the Kashmir, because some parts of the Kashmir have been illegally occupied by Indian forces. So in those parts, they are trying to change the demography of Kashmiri people. But that's not going to work, that's not going to happen, because the Prime Minister of Pakistan has clearly stated that this is the map that we are going to use in the future, and this is the same map that have been used in the past as well during General Ziaul Haq time, and also if you go back further into the history. So this is the map that is going to be used, and this is the map that we will be using everywhere on the diplomatic level. And according to this map, the territory of Jammu and Kashmir is a disputed area. The people of Kashmir has to decide on which side they want to go, either to Pakistan or India, based on the United Nations resolution. So that is very clear, that is crystal clear. But and also it is crystal clear, if the vote happens today, which side Kashmir will go. So more or less it is an integral part of Pakistan. We call it Sharag. It is a Sharag of Pakistan. It is not going to go to another way. Now some people are trying to do propaganda that the government of Pakistan is not behind Kashmiri people, they are behind the land. That is again completely wrong. In Islam, as you know very well, the land has no value. So the land of Kashmir has no value. It's only the people of Kashmir. But we know that the people of Kashmir, what they are going to decide. Majority of them are going to decide to choose Pakistan. But let's assume in the worst case scenario, which is not possible, but let's assume it's possible. Even if they decide something else, Pakistan has no problem, because Pakistan is not behind the land. Pakistan is behind the people. And it has been said clearly by the Prime Minister of Pakistan that we want that the will of the Kashmiri people, the will of the majority of the Kashmiri people should be considered. They should decide what they want. And he also has said that this is a goal. This is a goal that we have to achieve. This road will go to Srinagar. He said that. So this is a very clear message to those who are trying to misinterpret his speech or misrepresent him, or want to become a part of mass media propaganda. This is a message to them that everything is crystal clear. Watch his speeches, look at the map, and look at the history. Now, also one good thing in this map is that Pakistan has clearly stated two other parts of current India, which are also have been illegally occupied by India, and those are Junagadh and Manavadar. These two geographical parts, which are, I think, are part of the state of Gujarat today in India. During the partition time, those states decided to become part of Pakistan, but India occupied them illegally, because that time Pakistan was just created. It did not have any army, it did not have any institutions, so Pakistan was not able to do anything. India just took over by force, and Pakistani government never accepted that in the history of Pakistan. So we still claim that those parts belong to us. So it was a good historical lesson for those people who don't know the history of Pakistan, because as I said, during General Ziaul-Haq time and prior to that, this map has been widely used, and also the people have been widely educated, like people of our generation. They know about very well these parts, Junagadh and Manavadar, but the recent generations, they don't know very well. And the reason for that is that the previous so-called democratic governments of Nawaz Sharif and Zardari, they were corrupt governments. They had vested business interest in the West. They had lot of corruption issues and charges against them. Everyone knows that. And also they were getting lot of influence from external powers, and they actually deviated from the Pakistani policy. Those governments, those so-called democratic governments, they did not change the policy because they did not have the courage to change the policy, but they ignored this map completely. But now it has been restated by the Prime Minister of Pakistan on the highest possible level, and also he has said that this map should be used in all educational institutions, so the future generations don't forget that. So I think it was a good lesson for young generations who don't know that what is Junagadh and what is Manavadar, why they should be part of Pakistan. And they have, if you want to get some history lesson right now, I can tell you that during the partition time, when India and Pakistan were divided into two countries, Pakistan came into existence. That time the choice was given to different states who were independent or semi-independent to pick and choose which country they want to go. And the rulers of Junagadh and Manavadar, they decided to join Pakistan. But India did not accept that. So India illegally, forcefully occupied them. And the rulers of those states, they moved to Pakistan. But that those lands, they never came under the control of Pakistan because Pakistan did not have any army that time. Now you can compare these geographical parts, Junagadh and Manavadar, to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. This is the same problem as we have in Jammu and Kashmir. In the states of Junagadh and Manavadar, of course, no one will deny that the majority of the people were Hindus in those states, and the majority of the people in those states wanted probably to join India. But the ruler, they wanted to join Pakistan. On the other hand, in Kashmir, the majority of the population was and still is Muslims. But the ruler was not like elected ruler. The ruler bought the whole state of Jammu and Kashmir from British with a small money. I think with that money you cannot even buy 1/1000 of the Stockholm city. But with that small money, they bought the whole state of Jammu and Kashmir from British, and those rulers, I don't know what they decided, but India claims that those rulers, they want Kashmir to be part of India. So the state of Jammu and Kashmir and the state of Junagadh and Manavadar, they are identical in a sense that, the rules and regulations were same for all the states. But India, on one case, this was claiming that majority of Hindus are living in these states, so those states should be part of India. On the other hand, India did not apply the same principle in Kashmir. They applied the opposite in Kashmir. So it was a good history lesson to give you the face of India and what kind of thinking is behind Indian policymakers. I think it was good to highlight this Junagadh and Manavadar, so that people of India, they are not our enemy. Majority of Indians, they don't know history. I think they should read the history. They should look what happened in Junagadh, what happened in Manavadar, and what happened in Jammu and Kashmir. Then they will understand that. I think Pakistan does not have to even convince. The people can Google the history and can find the information themselves. But it was a great historical, I think that Prime Minister of Pakistan did to re-emphasize what had been emphasized by the General Ziaul Haq and by the previous rulers of Pakistan, that this is our map, this is our goal, this is the true map, and if you apply any kind of principles of justice, then this should happen. Then the whole state of Kashmir should become part of Pakistan. That's the goal that Prime Minister of Pakistan has clearly highlighted. So one thing I want to make this clear today, that if you don't know about history, Google yourself the history. And if you don't know what Prime Minister of Pakistan has said or what the Foreign Minister of Pakistan, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, has said, please watch their speeches again and again. And then you will know what is truth and what is not. And it is not something that should be done by forcefully or that should be done by some violation. I think there should not be any violation in the Kashmir. There should not be any injustice for the Kashmiri people. There should not be any lockdown or curfew as imposed by India in Kashmir. The people of the Kashmir should decide what they want based on the United States resolution. And when I say that, everyone knows what will be the outcome when they are going to implement these resolutions. Now, one thing also was done in this map, which may be a little different than the previous old maps that we have studied, and that is about the parts of the Kashmir that are under China control. So there are some parts of Kashmir that are under China control, and Pakistan does not put the boundary there. It has made it open-ended, and the reason for this is that India and China are already in a war situation in that region, in Ladakh region, and there is fighting ongoing between China and India, and they have claims with each other. But India and Kashmir, the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and Pakistan, they have no issues, they have no problems. So once the people of Jammu and Kashmir will decide what they want to do, then China and people of Jammu and Kashmir and Pakistan, they can agree what they want to do with those parts of the Kashmir that are under the control of China. And that's not a huge part, that is a small part. I don't think there's any issue there. The issue is between India and China on something else. As soon as China is, I think as soon as China will be satisfied that India is not going to do any illegal occupation in that area, and as soon as China will be satisfied that India is not going to cause problem on the highways that China is building, not only in Pakistan, all over the world, I think there will be no issue that will remain between China and Kashmir, and also between Pakistan, and probably also between India. So I have noticed that some people who are not the majority, who are actually minority, but they have access to media, they have access to mass media propaganda machines, and they are spread all over the world, and sometimes they claim they're also Kashmiri. And now I think Indian propaganda war machines will be activated, and those people have already started talking about wrong things, and they are misinterpreting the speeches of Prime Minister of Pakistan, and also the speech of Foreign Minister of Pakistan, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, and also they are misinterpreting this map, and they are talking about different kind of things. For example, I have came to know that some people are saying that Pakistan is saying that Kashmir does not belong to Pakistan. Kashmir is a disputed area. Of course, Kashmir is a disputed area. That is the whole point that Prime Minister of Pakistan tried to highlight in this map. And that point is that this is a disputed area. The dispute must be solved according to the United States resolution, according to the wishes of the majority of Kashmiris, not according to the wishes of the minority of Kashmiris. And if they decide that, what will be the outcome? Whatever will be the outcome, Pakistan will be happy to accept it. And of course, everyone knows the outcome will be that they want to be part of Pakistan. So if someone is trying to misguide you or misinform you, please don't become the victim of the mass media propaganda machine. Just try to Google yourself different information. Just try to find what happened in the history. Just try to look into these speeches, and then I think if there is anyone in this world who has a common sense, and who want to apply logic, and who want to give the people of Kashmir the right to self-determine what they want according to United Nations resolutions, they already know. And if they don't know, after investigation they will know what will be the outcome. And that is why India has not implemented the United Nations resolutions from many decades. So this also indicates that the existence of United Nations has really no meaning for the developing countries, because even if the resolutions are passed by the veto powers, even if everything is approved by the United Nations are not able to enforce that. For example, for the state of Jammu and Kashmir, there are United Nations resolutions that have been passed, but India has not implemented them. So what is the point to have United Nations if it cannot enforce? So I think United Nations was created, or the creation of United Nations just means to do work that suits certain policies makers of this global world. So it's mainly United Nations exists to support the Western societies or the Western countries. United Nations has failed to implement even basic human right principles in most part of the world. It only make noises and it only shouts when something wrong happens to those people who are the policy makers of the world, who control the world. I don't know how much clear I should say that. I think everyone understands it. And that is all that I wanted to talk about today. So please, in summary, I would like to say that it was a great thing that has been done by the Prime Minister of Pakistan. Great from the perspective that the previous governments, they actually mismanaged the whole Kashmir policy. They misguided the people of the Pakistan and also misguided the rest of the world. Now the Prime Minister of Pakistan trying to correct the mistakes that have been done by the previous governments of Nawaz Sharif and Zardari, and also by the way Mushabbar. Prior to that, it was the same story that General Ziaul Haq and other leaders have presented. So it was the same story that was presented by Prime Minister of Pakistan. So basically, this is all that I wanted to talk about today. So if you want to dig deeper into this topic, please do your research yourself. Watch the speeches of the Prime Minister of Pakistan and also the speech of Foreign Minister of Pakistan, Shah Mahmood Qureshi. Look at the map yourself, read the history, and then you will know what is right or wrong. Don't become the victim of the mass media propaganda machines that will be activated soon. Actually, in Sweden, they have already been activated. So thank you to all of you. Goodbye. See you next time.
ऑफिशियल नक्शा होगा पाकिस्तान का, वो ये जो आज पाकिस्तान की कैबिनेट ने पास किया है। पाकिस्तान की कैबिनेट ने, कश्मीरी लीडरशिप ने और सारी ऑपोजिशन की लीडरशिप ने भी इस नए नक्शे की तायीद की है। ये जो नक्शा है, जो हम पाकिस्तान का पॉलिटिकल मैप दुनिया के सामने लेके आ रहे हैं, ये सबसे पहले पाकिस्तानी कौम की उमंगों की तर्जुमानी करता है। उसके बाद ये पाकिस्तान और कश्मीर के लोगों का जो असूली मौक़िफ़ है उसकी तायीद करता है। और जो हिंदुस्तान ने 5 अगस्त पिछले साल गासिबाना और गैर कानूनी कदम उठाया था कश्मीर में, ये उसकी नफ़ी करता है। और आज से सारे पाकिस्तान में जो हमारा ऑफिशियल नक्शा होगा पाकिस्तान का, वो ये जो आज पाकिस्तान की कैबिनेट ने पास किया है। अब से ये स्कूलों में, कॉलेजेस में, इंटरनेशनली ये नक्शा आया करेगा हमारा। अब मैं चाहूँगा कि हमारे फॉरेन मिनिस्टर शाह महमूद कुरैशी ये आपको ये जो नक्शा है जिसमें जो चेंजेस हुए हैं ये अब आपके सामने रखें। शाह महमूद कुरैशी।
शुक्रिया वज़ीर आज़म। पूरी कौम को मुबारकबाद, ख़ास तौर पे वज़ीर आज़म आपको और आपकी हुकूमत को मुबारकबाद मैं देना चाहूँगा।
If you like this video, please share this video to the whole world. Spread this video everywhere. We are confident that this channel is going to have a huge impact. This channel is going to change some of the lives of the people. So please subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon and stay tuned. Thank you to all of you. Goodbye.